The main thing for me at that time was that he was sacrificing. One of the prayers during the offertory reads, quotation, "Accept this offering, and thou wert graciously pleased to accept the gifts of thy just servant Abel, and to sacrifice of our patriarch Abraham, and that which thy high priest Melchizedek offered to thee, a holy sacrifice, an unspotted victim." Quotation end. Abel the shepherd had made a burnt offering of the firstlings of his flock and their fat on the altar of sacrifice. Abraham had been prepared to sacrifice his son and then sacrificed a ram in his place. Melchizedek, who was not of the race of Abraham, sacrificed bread and wine. Primitive religion, Jewish faith, and the Gentile world were represented by the three names in the prayer of sacrifice: human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, and the unbloody sacrifice were cited, whereby the unbloody sacrifice recalled the bloody sacrifice through its symbolism. It was clear to me that the Catholic Mass, in its traditional form, unchanged for more than 1,500 years, should be seen not as the rite of one particular religion, but as a fulfillment of all religions, having absorbed and enveloped all of them. Taking part in a sacrifice of this kind, I was uniting myself with all men who had ever lived, from the most distant times until the present, because I was doing what they had done. Participating in the traditional sacrifice of the Mass, I felt that I was a human being doing something befitting a human being, that I was fulfilling the most important duty of human existence, perhaps for the first time, and that I was doing this for all the others who did not want to or could not fulfill this duty. Forbidding people to participate in this Mass suddenly seemed childish, not to be taken seriously. I found similar ideas in the essay entitled Titanism and Cult by the priest Pavel Florensky, who was executed in Stalin's reign. Of course, as the words of a priest, they carry greater weight than the private ideas of a layman. Quotation, "Our liturgy is older than us and our parents, even older than the world. The liturgy was not invented, it was discovered, appropriated. It is something that always was, namely the distillation of rational prayer, more or less. The Orthodox faith has absorbed the world's inheritance, and what we have in her is a poor grain of all religions, threshed free of chaff, the very essence of humankind. So it is beyond doubt that our liturgy comes not from men, but from the angels." Quotation end. If we are to experience the Christian liturgy in this way, it needs to have been purified and refined. A liturgy from which every trace of subjectivity has been eliminated. Even in the earliest Christian times, Basil the Great, one of the Eastern Church Fathers, taught that the liturgy was revelation, like Holy Scripture itself, and should never be interfered with. And so it was, until the pontificate of Paul VI. Naturally, this attitude did not prevent essential modifications, but such changes as occurred took place organically, unconsciously, unintentionally, and without a theological plan. They grew out of the practice of liturgy, just as a landscape is altered over centuries by wind and water. In the antique world, if a ruler broke a tradition, he was regarded as having committed an act of tyranny. In this very particular sense, one could draw the bitter conclusion that Paul VI, the modernizer, with his eyes fixed on the future, acted as a tyrant in the church. Maybe the anthropologists will say one day that he was right to wield power in the way he did. But that means nothing to me. I shut my eyes to this attack on the divine liturgy. Stone Age men have an undeveloped attitude toward time. They have no idea what is meant by the future. And as for the past, they think it must have been more or less like the present.